Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Rummer, and this is the Ace Attorney Chronicles Adventures. This is my first ever playthrough of Ace Attorney Chronicles Adventures. We're getting to an investigation. And I think that this room is in pretty bad shape. It's in pretty bad shape. The fact that so early we lost Cosma is pretty insane. What's kind of funny though as well, I press triangle as if I'm playing Danganronpa, trying to figure out if there's anything I can ascertain about this room, or okay, so let's check out everything. We'll do a sweep from left to right. I feel like that's just natural, for me. Then again, it is a Japanese game, so maybe we should do from right to left. We'll do from left to right for now. Here we go. Like this banner here. Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this in which you can pull to ring a bell or summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Yeah, we forget this girl's 16. Of course she's gonna want to do this. Wait, we're 35. Why? We shouldn't want to do this either. You're never too old to if you be curious about the red button on the corner, or the red button on the table. You're never too old for that stuff. Embrace the red button in the corner. Embrace it, my friends. Embrace it. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy. That's all. Oh dear, that won't do. What's the matter, Suzaru-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard. Are you, Naruto-san? No, I'm not like that. I'm sure you're careful to look around using... Yeah, man, it's almost like we did that first. Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Let's do that. Wow, thank you for suggesting that, girl. So far, you're very helpful. If you heard a bottle there, I'm drinking a Vihit. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Let's look at this. I think it's some kind of opening for a ventilator, like someone could escape through the ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate in through the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when its seas are rough, or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. So, it gives us a tick as well when we investigate everything. Let's investigate our house. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. How is our back not in bits? Have you been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruto-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night it was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. There we go again. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Cosma. He didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Did you flip me again for trying to read his diary? It's out of the question. What? Cosmo-san may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. I do that in most games, actually. I refuse to read the diary. Remember Breath of the Wild, I at first didn't read the diary, and then everyone was like, no, Calvin, go back and read your diary, please. But what if something happened? Important. What if it's something important, something relevant to the case? All right. I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Look, we'll respect her wishes for now. We'll respect her wishes. So we've kind of like explored all this. Let's explore this. There's ink on the floor. There's the chalk outline. Let's do this then. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? I fit in there. Yeah. It carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see. It says this way up in Japanese. When in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over, and then it was tossed to the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Suzato takedown. Less painful than a Suzato takedown. Wait, so I'm guessing the whole crime scene is going to be, like, important to this. There's someone knocked this stuff over, right? So we have the writing there as well. Let's look at this, too. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled in the same way. And what's this, a statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked, and everything mowed down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-san doing his morning sword training. He's too good with that sword. We saw what he did to that guy's hair. Remember when he assaulted that guy? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruto-san, in a fit of rage. Maybe it was you in a fit of rage. See how I did that? Wow. I wouldn't bother leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books in a statue. I'm angry. He just gets out. I'm going back in my wardrobe. You think about what I just did. You see all that stuff on the wall? That was me. You think about that? I'm going home. He goes back into the wardrobe. You know, if you act up again, I'm gonna knock over the books again. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. No, it's evidence! Oh my god. Did you go to the Hosonaga School of Witchcraft and Wizardry? Look at this guy. I'm gonna have to talk to this guy and he's gonna annoy me. I know he will. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Biura. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Okay, he shouldn't have brought me aboard then. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I already made that joke, Susaru. Sorry. I can't decide. Well, depends on how you use me, I suppose. One thing's sure, either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Sorry, Susaru-san. It's okay, though. You can use a different joke next time. Did Kazuma-san write this before he died? Looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Lucky enough. Go... Peep... I don't know. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruto-san. What? Then, what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? What the hell? Freaking Spider Boy? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... Look at the... That's such a good, like, look at the way she's looking as well. On the defense, you've noticed a man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here. But he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruto-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? No, I don't. Why would I? It's HERLOCK Holmes. SHOLMES. Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Cosmo's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk to him. Am I just imagining it, or does Suzaru-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. If you press X on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Wow! Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights, and we'll see what he has to say for himself. We'll do that last, I'd say. Oh, please do. I like to save, like, the chunky bits for the last, I think. Examine. Okay, so we have the outline and this here. There's this here as well. I actually think this investigation's been super fun so far. Like, I think maybe the way it's presented, maybe just it feels very different from the other games so far. It's very fun. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware, and it helps that Suzaru-san is also very interesting too. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuki fastener from a kimono outfit. And I'm sure it sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It is sort of a brick like you. Yes, you're right. You? It is the color of a brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Okay, what do you have to explore over here? So the tablecloth is coming off. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and the cutlery all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night, when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So, then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama? No. Maybe not. What is this? On the floor. This little, like, thing. That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. Okay, it was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Suzaru-san. I ate at the table, of course. I like the dynamic they have so far. It's actually really fun. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. And why we left it there, just on the table. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-san spent his last night on Earth on an empty belly? No, I'm pretty sure he probably got something else to eat. It's just too horrible. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Okay, so we have the chicken. We kind of look at the knife. His sword is right here. It's right here. Perhaps I should see what the Russian crewman makes of this scene of the crime. Okay, I guess we'll look at the Russian... excuse me. Oh, so it's not the sword. It's hit him. Okay. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it is not true, I see. Sorry. The criminal asking the investigator for information about his crime, very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have used some information though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? The guy's still hanging over there, I love it. Oh my god, the stare. Yet, of course not. Now, back to the corner room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. So he's not talking to us anymore, okay. So we have the door. I think that's the only place on this side that we haven't... Oh, there's this as well, I suppose. The little, scroll. Seiji, the Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. He might be true. Yes, his calligraphy are always a reflection of his heart. Yet you can really look at those characters without feeling shame knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on the ship? Now you're gonna bring that up? Are you? I can't win. And then we have the door. Man, I love this investigation. It flows so well. It flows so well. When I went for help, the crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite small bolts, and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense. I tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across the outside of the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of the cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. So I think we kind of explored or did a good exploration of like all the aspects of this whole area here. I think what we just have to do now is talk to this weirdo up here who's hanging upside down. And I hope the blood has rushed to your head, my boy. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in my investigation. Is it? Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Jesus Christ, he is an Ace Attorney character right away. And the music too. What exactly were you doing on Cosmo? Oh, sorry, that's not him. What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? Did you just take a piss? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, he's good. He's good. Sorry, what? And now, whilst venturing towards the foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did you know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? He's already got something wrong, so we shouldn't really be trusting this guy completely. But of course, a great many things. There's no mystery, my dear madam, for example. You have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. Nobody, no. You will have 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the bare-ribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. No, he was my best friend and roommate. We were roommates. Last of Us Episode 3 style roommates. I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Apparently everything does. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, aren't you? Certainly I am. Oh my god, the animation. Do you see anyone in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. He's brilliant. So it's true. It was you who did this, Cosmo-sama. Okay, Susato, I had very high hopes for you. Very high hopes. But now I'm not too sure. No, I'm not too sure. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And you're planning a revolution too. It's shameful behavior, Naruto-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen. There's no way I... Yeah, she does the flip again. Okay, thank you. Now you explain yourself. Tell me everything. You believe that I'm a Russian spy. That I've been able to do this for years under Kazuma's nose. It's very comedic, though. You have to love Ace Attorney, though, in that sense. So, like, it's actually one of my favorite aspects of it, how wild it gets and how off the wall it can be. It's actually the most fun part. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you. Sorry, as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Was I not right? No. Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troublesome predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. There you have it. You see. What do you make of that, hmm? Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation, which we're very good at as well, apparently. We're very good at observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself? Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I'm none other than the greatest detective of the century known to men and women the world over. The inimitable HERLOCK Sholmes. So, it's really you? The actual HERLOCK Sholmes? The very same. The inimitable actual HERLOCK Sholmes. This guy's probably going to be a thorn in our side through this whole trial, you just know it. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruto-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet I've been living on then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. He's already gotten everything wrong, Susato! Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Oh god, okay, let's converse with you. The great detective. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only HERLOCK Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? HERLOCK, was it? No, I've no her. I mean, I've hair. Please call me Sholmes. Okay. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, the Rants magazine full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of HERLOCK Sholmes. So you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you started to think you really are a detective? Okay, so he's actually just like a story detective, so he's not actually like a real detective. Make no mistakes, I am not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? So they made stories about a detective? My trusted biographer records my... Oh, okay, so that's fine. But he kind of reminds me of a Lockhart type thing, like from that one wizard story with all the books and stuff. Achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer? Do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. the Ricky Starks movement is gonna get weird. Why this very moment I'm returning from Asia, having solved this mystery of the cursed royal crown? Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, it's to me a science, logical reasoning and in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions to in his subject. A further glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arms, sleeves, photos in the skin, and all these things are data. The thing I find about, like, you know, people deducing stuff from body language is like, yes, sometimes body language can be a very great deduction of how people are feeling, especially if you know a person very well. You'll find, like, if you ever watch, like, true crime documentaries online, like, where they observe, like, interrogations, like, they'll do a lot to fit their narrative. They'll be like, Jessica puts her hands in the open palm position, clearly seeing that she's honest, but this all could be is indication that she is trying to catch leaves from the sky, which makes her guilty. And then next part, like, Jessica has her arm on her chest. Jessica here has her arm on her chest. As you can see, this is a clear indication that Jessica is guilty, or she could just have a pain in her chest. It's like, okay, dude, right? And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. as I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look me in the eye and claim that? It was the worst deduction I've ever seen, Sholmes. So you see, I have to turn for both observation and deduction and fame. My friend is dead, and this dude is annoying me like this. I can't believe this is even happening. My roommate. That is what makes me the only one and only HERLOCK Sholmes. So what do you know about my friend's death? And be gentle about this, because I will kill you. I will absolutely murder you. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have you managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprits in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you, now, Mr. HERLOCK Sholmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I am in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of his crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, HERLOCK Sholmes, was on board. I kind of like how delusional this guy is, though. He's great. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruto. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Oh, so we've added something to it as well. Your deduction just now, 2 facts. I love it. Like, they used to do it in the other game as well. Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. Oh, sorry, yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Wait, what? No, it was not Russian! Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left on the victim on the floor. It says Leon, yeah. That's the Russian word for wardrobe. So it's not Leon. Wow. Do you really think Kazuma-san could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, the many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian? Was he? No, maybe he was just trying to do it for the people who were going to come into the cabin who were Russian. Initially, I considered Garderob, maybe the name of the killer, a certain Robert Garde, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. There you found Mr. Naruto sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. I guess that's me. Big revolutionary big boy. Why is it I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. What? Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. You are like Mrs. Weasley in this situation. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Oh my god, no, it's so sad seeing him like this. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Oh, yes, thank you. The photograph. The Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. It would appear that it was written in the victim's final moments. Why would he do that? Maybe he's trying to, like, say, hey, not the wardrobe or something? Maybe he didn't finish his message? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was fierce and revolutionary fleeing from Russia, all that. Yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. So we have to do your deduction just now and what you were just investigating. We have a lot to do now. We're going to end the episode here. We're going to come back in the next one and talk about the other 2 things he has to say. This is really fun. This is really fun. And like, I think it has to do a lot with like the new animations, the bright colors. I know it sounds very childish. I mean, Mom, the bright colors are getting me. I really like this, and I like the characters so far as well, of course, too. We'll see what's happening in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye.